Hello, everyone, and welcome to the recap show here on Dojo Live this Monday, October 17th, 2022. My name is Kim Lantis, and joining me is America Guerrero.
Hey everybody, excited to be here.
Yeah, Monday mood. I'm not feeling it yet. I'm a little off. So if this recap show is clunky, I apologize in advance.
And we have 4 shows to describe.
4 shows. So what do we do in the recap show? We talk about last week's show here in Dojo Live as a way to recap our thoughts and feelings and to entice you viewers, of course, to watch them. You can watch all of them at our website, dojo.live. And also, of course, we're introducing the shows that we've got coming up this week. 2 fantastic shows. But first, let's start with last week. Who did we have? We spoke with Steve Van Lare, who is the president of engineering, VP of engineering at Anjuna Security. He talked about confidential computing and making the cloud safe for sensitive data. After that was Manuela Zeninsein, I think, CEO and co-founder of Kadea. And this was a really cool conversation about closing the loop on single-use packaged beverages. And after that, Artur, Kane, CMO and VP of product at Good Access, talking about the new Battleground, how small and medium-sized businesses can be secure, right, in the era of cyber attacks. And we wrapped up the week with a Dojo Live People Matters panel, talking about creating an awesome work environment with 3 amazing women that included Kirsten Moorefield, Chief Operations Officer at Cloverleaf, Melissa Ribeiro, who is the CPO, Chief People Officer at Ancora, and Anabel Montiel, People and Culture, also at Ancora. So let's top it off with Steve Van Lare, VP of Engineering at Anjuna. What did you think of Steve's show?
I really like her personality. I like that he preferred to be part of this software industry instead of hardware. It's something that he has been looking for since the beginning of his career. And in this show, I learned what confidential computing is, which is the overarching name of what the trusted execution environment is called. But I learned why this is important, because there is a big importance of protecting data instead of the cloud. Well, both are important, but the data is this huge element that companies are protecting in these times. So I learned about that.
Yes, all about confidential computing. To me, it came down to this visualization of the Guardians of the Galaxy, right? How every individual data piece is protected, but then together they create different layers of a greater protection. And it's really fantastic. But I too enjoyed Steve's personal story, his personal journey. Another one of those individuals who's continuously growing and continuously looking, I think, just for excitement and impact and doing something new. Stepping out into something that he'd never worked in before with security, really liking the startup life. It was a really, really good conversation. Also just about, diversity. And we talked a bit about, I think, needing more women and presence in STEM. And it was a really great conversation. So for sure, check that one out. Talking about women in STEM, the second guest last week was Manuela Zeninsein. I keep saying it wrong. Zeninsein. She's a CEO and a founder of Kadea, which is really great. Kadea actually is this awesome mashup of hardware and software, where basically envision a standard soda machine, or pop your quarters in, your dollar, and get it back. But it's for bottled beverages, a station where each bottle has a QR code. You can scan it, and you receive that, and then you can return that same bottle, and within that same machine, it works like as basically a sanitizer, bottling, distribution, like an entire factory essentially inside a Coke machine. So it's pretty fantastic. And of course, the entire goal here is to have beverage companies deliver the products that people, know and love without the throwaway packaging. I think the business model behind this is really smart too, where they're focusing, on spaces where there's a large number of people but little options.
Construction areas,
construction sites or manufacturing facilities and places like that. And then just the fun component, right, of being able to track the data with those QR codes that they, as Kadea, could use, as well as the beverage companies. And it's just overall, I think, really forward-facing, pretty cool piece of engineering and technology.
Yes, I think that you cover everything. You're an eco geek, You're going to love this company. And what I really liked is that I
And
thought
her
that
own
this
story is
kind
a
of
really good story too.
exactly. I thought that these kind of machines or devices you can look find them on big offices or big cities. I had that kind of mentality, but not. I really like the mission that anyone can have this kind of sustainable products and you can find them. So I don't know which states they have this.
No, I think they're pretty small still, and it's just getting started. I think it's going to start, the way I understood it was to start more in places, targeted places like manufacturing facilities, but eventually that's the goal, right? To have a Kadea machine, to have every single soda fountain option, say, powered by Kadea, right? Perfect. And we wrapped up the week with our regular shows, talking with Artur Kane, CMO and VP of Product at Good Access. Again, securing SMBs in the area of cyber attacks and really talking about how cybersecurity can be made practical for everyone. What were your takeaways from that show?
I understood that Good Access is a cloud VPN that enables secure remote access to company network, businesses, systems, and cloud resources. And he mentioned about how to build this what was the name, Kim? Zero trust environment.
Zero trust security.
Yeah, and how synergy is really important for this kind of companies. That you need to be aligned with your employees. He also mentioned another kind of values, but it was a really interesting show.
Yeah, synergy, not to be confused with energy. I remember I misheard that on the original show, but that's right. I mean, all about zero trust, and their focus with Good Access is focusing on the small and medium-sized businesses, right? Because even though it's the corporate businesses that we hear about, the larger entities, when they do have security issues or experience data breaches, that's what makes the news. But I think the statistic he said is 50% of data breaches actually happen at the small and medium-sized business level. And, hackers and bad players are getting smarter. And so they're really trying to make that accessible, understandable, and easily accessed to those players. And that's really great. And I think my takeaway there was just this approach of this balance of the people themselves, but also having to actually, secure the tech, because people, we have a hard time with that sometimes. And so his perspective, I think, is to start with the tech, but then when you're moving towards zero trust, that it can be a process, right? We don't have to feel overwhelmed by this or feel like we have to get it all right from day one. Every little element and different layers of security that we can add over time is going to be better and better and better. Good access helps with that. So we did wrap up the week, like we said, with a People Matters panel, creating an awesome work environment and looking at how in a current employees market, how pivotal a work environment is to things like employee well-being and ultimately turnover and hiring. And so how this benefits employer as well as employee. We had 3 amazing women on that show. What were your takeaways?
I really like the part when you ask who is responsible for creating the culture in a company. And I remember that Melissa, Kirsten, and Anabel, they shared that on her personal opinions are that 50% are the company and 50% are the employees. Why 50% the company? Because they need to provide the tools to create the environment. And then how to take ownership as an employee to take advantage of those tools. And it makes totally sense. I thought about that the whole weekend and I really liked it.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I think it starts at the top in terms of creating an environment where people can create. And I think that's sort of where it all comes down to, and just the benefits that kind of come out of that. And I just think it's this perspective of an employee's market is actually in some ways a really good thing, because it's what's forcing companies to do better and be better. And this idea of like, what does that mean? What does that look like? And how it doesn't necessarily have to do with maybe some of these traditional perks that we might think of in terms of, free food or ping pong tables or subsidies and things. It's more like things that really matter. Am I heard here? Do I feel like I belong here? Can I grow here? And those types of questions that are mattering more and more, and what it is to create an awesome work environment. So we do have, of course, as promised, what's coming up this week on Dojo Live. You're not going to want to miss it. We've got 2 amazing shows. First, starting on Wednesday at 10 o'clock Pacific. And that one is going to be with Tail Scale. And we're going to be speaking with Avery Penneron, who is the CEO, talking about better living through small networks, answering the question of how did the open internet grow to be such a dangerous place? And why don't security and privacy ever seem to get any better? Is there a better way? And we'll close the week with a second show that will be on Thursday. And that's going to be, oh gosh, now I'm all sorry, bear with me here. That's going to be with ThoughtBot. And we actually have two women on that show, Dawn Delate as well as Emily Bana, who are managing directors at ThoughtBot. And they're going to be answering product strategy at every stage and why leveraging product strategy expertise is critical now more than ever, and how you can do it from idea to MVP and beyond. So don't miss it. We've got two great shows coming up this week, Wednesday and Thursday, right here in Dojo Live, 10 o'clock Pacific. Thank you, Mirka.
To you.
Bye.